Good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to Live Talk. We are coming to you from Studio 7 at the Voice of America in Washington. It's a Friday, November the 27th, 2020. I am Tungamili Nkomo. And tonight I'm all by myself because my colleague Marvelous Mhlanganyahuye is on vacation. But the show is here, so let's do it. Tonight we are focusing on the ongoing coronavirus pandemic with so many people dying and contracting this disease on a daily basis in Zimbabwe and indeed across the globe. Ngamukele umthwakazi omuhle yabosendo lukaMzilikazi kuhlelo lwe-live talk lamhlanje siqhubeka sixoxa ngomkhuhlane we-coronavirus wona oqhubeka usabalala elizweni jikelele lasemhlabeni jikelele. Banengi abafayo ngalomkhuhlane, banengi njalo abawubambayo imihla lamalanga. Bedwendi nokugamuchirai muchirongwa che live talk nasi sekutaura kwandaita indirindega muchirongwa ichi nekuti mumwe wangu Marvelous Mhlanganyahuye aripa vacation asi chirongwa chiri pano. Saka tiri kukurukura tiri kuenderera mberi nhasi tichikurukura nezvenyaya yechirwere checoronavirus icho chatekeshera munyika pamwe chete nepasi rose munyika dzakasiyana siyana. Timbotarisa mafigures kuti akamira sei, kesikhangeleke amafigures lapha ukuthi aminjani. Izolo kube labantu abangu 115 kwakaita vanhu 115 nezuro vakawongororwa vakawanikwa vaine chirwere ichi. 115 abantu ababanjwe lumkhuhlane izolo eZimbabwe. Njalo idolobho lakobulawayo libe yilo elikhokhelayo ngabantu abafunyanwe belomkhuhlane lo bengu 63. Lilandelwa iMashonaland East elabantu abangu 19, Matabeleland South ibe labantu abangu 14, kuzothi iMash West ibe labantu abangu 9, Matabeleland North ibe labantu abangu 4, Mashonaland Central yona ibe labantu abangu 3, kuzothi iMaswingo Midlands leManikaland zitholakale zilomuntu oyedwa ngendawo ole coronavirus. Pakati pevanhu 115 vakawanikwa vaine coronavirus nezuro, vanoita 63 ndeve kubulawayo, 19 ndeve kuMashonaland East, 14 Matabeleland South, Mashonaland West 9, Matabeleland North 4, Mashonaland Central 3, uyezve Masvingo Midlands neManikaland dzakawanikwa dzine munhu 1 panzvimbo nenzvimbo. Sikhangeleke lokho kuthiwa ngama-active cases. Ma-active cases tinenge tichitarisa vanhu vari kurwara pari zvino muZimbabwe vese vasvika pa952. Abalokhu begula abaphethwe yilomkhuhlane esikhuluma nje eZimbabwe abagulayo bangu 952. Asebeubanjiwe selokhu waqhamukayo bangu 9623. Vakabatwa chirwere ichi muZimbabwe kubvira chichitanga muna March vasvika 9623. Vapora pari zvino vatingati ma-recoveries asevepolile sevengu 8,397. Then vatoshaya asebefile vangu 274. But that's not enough because unless we break down the figures, these figures further, you might not have a complete picture of what's going on. So let's look at the active cases currently. Who leads the pack? Ibulawayo iyo ekhokhelayo ngabantu abangu-326. Ndikuti guta rebulawayo ndiro riri kutungamira nevanhu vari kurwara pari zvino nechirwere ichi. Vanoita 326 ilandelwa iMatabeleland North ele 199. Kozouya panumber 3 kune Mashonaland West ine 117. Kozoti Harare iri panumber 4 ine vanhu 94 vari kurwara pari zvino. Matabeleland South ikunumber 5 lapana labantu ngabantu abangu-76. Kuzoti Maswingo ine vanhu 51 iri panumber 6 nationally. Mashonaland East iri panumber 7 ine vanhu 32 vari kurwara pari zvino. Kozouya Manicaland panumber 8 ine vanhu 21. Midlands ikunumber 9 labantu abangu-20. Then iMashonaland Central ikunumber 10 iyo number last labantu abagulayo abangu-16. Pane vanhu 16 chete vari kurwara kuMashonaland Central pari zvino. Isaka total yema-active cases, i-total yabantu abagulayo labo engisanda kubabala 952. Tozotarisawo vanhu vakatoshaya nepamusana pechirwere ichi, abantu asebabhubhayo ngalo mkhuhlane. IHarare national iyo ekhokhelayo ilabantu abangu-121 deaths. Ilandelwa ibulawayo ele 79. Manicaland ine 24. Mashonaland West 12. Midlands ine 10. Matabeleland South ine 8. Maswingo ine vanhu 7. Kozoti Mashonaland Central, Mashonaland East le Matabeleland North zine vanhu iMashonaland Central le Mashonaland East zilabantu abangu-5. Pane vanhu 5 vari kurwara vakashaya rather kuMashonaland Central, uyezve vanhu 5 vakashaya kuMashonaland East. Then panumber 10 number last pane Matabeleland North. iMatabeleland North iyo esilahlekelwe ngabantu abalutshwana abangu-3, bringing i-total number yama-deaths nationally to 274. Ngokwenzakala eZimbabwe sibone idale lephalamende izolo. Amanye amalunga edale lephalamende ekhuthaza ukuthi uhulumende kumele avale izikolo ngoba umkhuhlane lo uhlasele kakhulu. Takaona nezuro dzimwe nhengo dzedare rephalamende zichikurudzira hurumende kuti ivhare zvikoro nechikonzero chekuti hanzi zvikoro zvakawanda zviri kuwanikwa vana vachibatwa nechirwere ichi. Amanye amalunga edale lephalamende athi hayi sokumele uhulumende angenele zivalwe lezi zikolo ngoba abantwana bathwele nzima, kungaba yingozi ezikolo. Ababalisi labo bakhala ngokuthi ezikolo lapha akula lokho kuthiwa ngama-protective personal equipment, ama-PPEs. Ukuthi bengaqoka labantwana labo bengaqoka bazivikele kulo mkhuhlane. Ngokunjalo ababalisi abaningi bathi balokhu bengayi ezikolo ngoba besesaba ukubamba lo mkhuhlane. Ngokunjalo siza kuba lomunye wamalunga edale lephalamende obesedale lephalamende izolo othi izikolo kumele zivalwe. Peter Moyo banova MP weku Southerton silo mnumzana Peter Moyo, member of parliament for Southerton eHarare, ongomunye wabantu wamalunga edale lephalamende akhuthaze uhulumende izolo ukuthi avale izikolo. Honorable Moyo, good evening and welcome to Live Talk.
Thank you, Dana.
We saw you and many other MPs yesterday in Parliament calling for the government to shut down schools. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. You see, it doesn't make any sense for the government to open schools at this juncture. Because, you see, when the pandemic attacked us, we were not prepared for it. It was unplanned. Now that we know vividly that this disease is with us, the government saw it fit to open schools at a very critical moment when the pandemic is rising. Therefore, it doesn't make any sense to take children who are at home, then you go and tell them to go into a bus without even testing those kids whether they have got that infection or they don't have it. They go to school in a bus full of kids without being tested. They go to school. Maybe only one person, only one child with that infection, let's assume, and that one child has infected the entire school. What is the rationale of opening schools at this juncture? And also, knowing fully that there are no teachers at the school. So why opening school, exposing our kids to such a terrible disease? They should have just said we will open schools next year after making all the fundamental preparations. Like right now, they were supposed to introduce e-learning as a matter of urgency.
Hanzi nevamwe vabereki vamoyo hanzi vananga varambe vachienda kuchikoro chero vachibata chirwere ichi.
Munhu anotaura izvozvo handifungi kuti mubereki ari normal. Mubereki chaiye chaiye ane pfungwa dzinoshanda, haangakandi mwana wake mumoto ari kuona uri kubvira iye unosanzira mwana imomo. Handifungi kuti mubereki anenge ari right iyeyo, because vana vacho kune maticha here zvamuri kuti vaende kuchikoro. Hakuna maticha acho. Saka muri kuti vana vaende kungonotora zvirwere vodzoka. Vadzoka kudaro vanouya vachidzodzao imba yacho yese because mwana uchazadza nemaneighbors. Vana vanofa sokuseka. Vabereki ngavaedze kufungisisa zvakanaka sevanhu vakabereka. Hapana chatiri kumhanyira, gore rinouya zvikoro zvinovhurwa. Vavhurwa, hurumende inofanira kuita e-learning yedu. Togadzirisa ishu yemacomputers kunenge kuri remote areas like kunana Midlands kwandinobva inini. Vanofanirwa kunge vaona kuti vaita system inoita kuti vakwanise kuwana dzidzo yechizvino zvino.
Mhlawumbe ngolimi lwakithi lapho mhlonitshwa sibone likhuthaza uhulumende ukuthi avale isikolo izolo ngoba umkhuhlane we-COVID lo usumemetheka ezikolo. Sikhuluma nje kubo John Talaki, eMatopo High, kubo Chinhoyi High, All Souls Mission eMtoko, ukubala nje izikolo ezinhlutshwana. Baningi abantwana asebebanjwe umkhuhlane lo okubangela ukuthi ezinye zalezi zikolo zivalwe. Kodwa siyakhuluma la bazali ngapha ku Studio 7, bakhona abanye abathi lanxa kunjalo abantwana kabaqhubeke besiya esikolo ngoba lonyaka vele kabazange bafunde, so already they are lagging behind. Ngokunjalo kumele baqhubeke besiya esikolo bathole imfundo. Ungathini kulabo abatsho njalo?
Kambe abazali nxa bekhuluma njalo bazamani, akula maticha. Amaticha la akula. Kulo mkhuhlwane abazali bathi hambani liyofunda. Bafundani? Ukuyafunda ukuyabona ipornographic akusebenzi. Umnyaka lo usulahlekile. Kungcono ukuthi umntwana ashele leyo mfundo okwe 2 months kodwa ephila kunokuthi uthumele umntwana ukuthi kona ayithathe umkhuhlwane afe. Abazali kufuze balimuke babone ukuthi kona into abayizama ukuthi bayenze leyi iloncedo kubani. Nxa uzafelwa ngumntwana usithi kuthiwa khona uyahamba esikolo siphi kona amathisha kungela uyathola besenza into ezingela ngqondo ezikolweni. Uhulumende kufuze abe prepared ukuthi khona uzayenza leyana abayithi e-learning abantwana bafunde besezindlini. Yikho esikubangayo kade sibanike i-2 billion budget ku-ICT usebenzani manje khona okutshengisa ukuthi bona ama-ministers bona abadala bona abala abantwana abaya lapha ukuhamba khona abantwana bethu abasemazweni abafunda kuhle kani.
Ungathi edale lephalamende njengama-MPs khonapho kule consensus liyavumelana yini ukuthi isikolo kumele sivalwe?
Asivumelani ngoba abanye bazama ukuthi khona bachayele i-government ihlombe ngoba abanye vele babuye eparliament ukuzoqhakeza. Lanxa kungathiwa khona uyisihluhwane kuyaqhakeza. So thina sisoze siqhakeze asingayanga eparliament kuyaqhakeza. Sahamba eparliament ukuthi khona siyotshela uhulumende lapha right u-right lapha wrong u-wrong.
Saka vamwe vangada kuziva kuti kana muchikurudzira kuti zvikoro zvivharwe zvovharwa kusvikira rini?
Isu tiri kuti gore rino iri dzidzo yatorasika. Izvezvi manje manje tiri kuvhara. Vanhu vachaita maholiday iwaya ari kuuya aya maKrismasi ari kuuya aya. Saka tavhurirei pamwedzi iyoyi miviri kana kuti mwedzi umwe chete chii chatavhurira kuti vana vawane zvirwere. Saka isu tati isusu gore rino ratofa hapasisina zviripo. Hatichingovhurai gore rinouya. Kana tabvura gore rinouya vana vanodzokera. Kana anga ari form 3 anodzokera form 3 anga ari grade 7 anodzokera grade 7. Kana anga ari grade 1 anodzokera grade 1. Nokuti hapana zvokuziita zvinhu zvoyamwari. Saka isati tovhura gore rinouya tagadzirira ma-testing kits aiswa muzvikoro zvese. Transport yevana yagadzirwa zvakanaka. Vana voita social distancing yazvakanaka. Taisa musoro pamwe chete. Vana vochidzidza havo vasingakwanisi kupara zvirwere. Paine maticha anovatarisa kuti vana ava havaswederani padhuze nadhuze. Because iwo zvino zvikoro zvizhinji mavaraidzi vacho havako. Saka tiri kuitii manje. Nokuti mwana wangopfeka uniform akaenda kuchikoro saka unotofunga kuti adzidza.
And in the past 2 months, I would say we have seen Harare, Bulawayo rather, registering more deaths and positive cases, whereas Harare hasn't experienced any losses, and its positive numbers are really minimal. Why do you think that is, Honorable Moyo?
I think the issue here, these statistics are scary because if you go to Bulawayo, maybe they are testing regularly, unlike in Harare. Because I'm telling you, the way we are being tested is not the way we are supposed to. A lot of people in Harare have never been tested. As members of parliament, we were tested because it was a forced matter. Those who were testing, they need to come into parliament and test us. What about those people who are at home? So maybe Bulawayo have seen it fit to test more people. Because if you compare, we are 14 million here in Zimbabwe, and we have tested, let's say we have tested less than 12,000. Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. I was going to be happy if we were going to say we have tested almost 4 million people in Zimbabwe.
Isike sakhuluma last week lo councillor wakobulawayo u-chairperson we-committee ekhangelane lezempilakahle, and besithi abantu abaningi kobulawayo sebengani sebekhohliwe ukuthi kulomkhuhlane ngoba batshone emashabhini, batshone emabhawa. Khona ngapho eHarare kabenzi njalo yini?
kanjalo abantu kabezwa yikho sithi kona uyabona omnye umzali esitabantwana bahamba esikolo bayitshona basemabhawa khathesi isikhuluma senze nje amasotsha akade ahambe emabhawa khonapho bayathola abantu begcwele bengenama mask yikho sithi akula amatesti ayenziwayo la ngabe kade kuyatestwa abantu lapho ukuthi queue yenziwe lapho umuntu wonke osetawuni hamba la leyo lungwaqo umuntu wonke etestwa you will be shocked bagcwele emabhawa emashabhini lapha konke abanye bayenza amaphathi etawuni
saka poitwa sei honorable Moyo nekuti chirwere chatekeshera ichi vanhu vakawanda vari kushaya vamwe vari kurwara poitwa sei because next week musi wa1 miganho yenyika maborders ari kuvhura ese
chandinongoona ndechekuti miganho yenyika kana ichivhurwa ngapave nematesting kits akakwana zuva nezuva even vanhu vemabhazi vanotakura vanhu vemabhazi vava vachienda vachivatakura ngavatange vatotestwa vanhu yavo vachizwa kuti uda kufamba kusera kwamangwana kana rini ngaatange atestwa munhu iyeye asati akwira bhazi muchaona kuti kana kumabhodha ikoko vanhu vakatestwa ikokoko vanhu vachadzorwa zvakanyanya nyanya so ina handioni sokuti nyangwe kuvhurwa kwemabhodha chingava chinhu chakangwara pari zvino nesituation yatinayo nokuti chirwere ichi tanga tichifunga kuti kwa zvakopisa chaakupera izvo chaakutowedzera paitofanira kutoitwa imwe lockdown nokungovhara futi kwete zvokungovhura mabhodha kungoti kwaitovhurira vanhu regai vafambe vamwe vachabva kune dzimwe nyika vanga vakagara ikoko vachatanga kuuya kunoku vauya votizadza zvirwere vodzokera vachingodira nyika yese tinofa tikapera
aiwa tinotenda zvikuru honorable Moyo, that's honorable Peter Moyo, a member of parliament for Southerton eHarare. Siyabonga kakhulu mhlonitsha.
Ngiyabonga nami ukuxoxelana.
Thank you so much. Now let's transition to our political panel, and I have Dr. Shepard Mpofu from South Africa, Mr. Tawanda Zokora of the MDC here in North America, as well as Dr. Masimba Mavaza of ZANU-PF, though Mr. Mavaza is here to join us. Let me start with you, Mr. Zokora. Manzwa apo honorable Moyo vari kuti dai lockdown dai nyika ichivharwa kwete kuvhurwa kwaichaitwa svondo rinouya nekuti chirwere chatekeshera ichi. Muri kuzvionawo sei? Because tiri kuona zvikoro zviri kuvharwawo and mamwe members eparliament ari kuti zvikoro ngazvivharwe zvachose because zviri kuitika pari zvino is too dangerous.
Ndinokwazisa mhuri yeZimbabwe yakateerera. Ini ndinoti nyaya iri kuitika yekuvhurwa kwemabhodha iyi ndinowirirana naHonorable Moyo. Haifaniri kunge iri kuitika. And I think ndototi zvakare ndiMwari vari kuita kuti hurumende yedu itaure kuti mabhodha ngaavhurwe. Icho chirwere checorona virus chatekeshera kudaro chichitoita shuramatongo muZimbabwe. Ndiri kuti ndiMwari nekuti Mwari vari kuda kuti vaonese vanhu vakavakidzana neZimbabwe, president weSouth Africa neweBotswana, kuti ndo kuondongwa kwaitwa nyika muZimbabwe, ndo matakanana ari kuitwa muZimbabwe. Vanhu vachatanga kupinda munyika yeSouth Africa nemunyika yeBotswana vasina kutestwa, nekuti vemuZimbabwe vacho havatorina mari yacho yekuti utestwe. Kuti utestwe muZimbabwe unoda an average of $40 to $80 kuti ukwanise kutestwa. Hakuna munhu anokwanisa kuwana mari iyoyo. Saka tichaona vanhu vakawanda vachijamba mabhodha vachipinda muSouth Africa nemuBotswana. Zvichazotosorana South Africa manhumbers paanenge atanga kukwira zvakanyanyisa, votanga kuzviona kuti vanhu vari kudariso vanhu veZimbabwe. Hurumende yeSouth Africa haizofari, vanhu vemuSouth Africa havazofari. pachaita manyongori ipapa ende tichidzokerawo munyika medu chaimo zviri kuitika ndezvekuti nyika yedu mutungamiriri wedu wenyika mutungamiriri wezanu PF vamunangagwa havateereri vanhu kana vachitaura. Pataidzidzisa isu tiri kuchikoro nokuti naim retired teacher taitaura kuti mwana uyu ane musoro wakaoma, musoro ngongongo. Maticha vakuru vematicha vakaudza hurumende kakawandisa kuti musavhure zvikoro tisina kugadzirira, musavhure zvikoro tisati taona kuti vana vanenge vakachengetedzeka here uye kuti vadzidzisi vacho vanenge vakachengetedzeka here. Asi hurumende nekusateerera kwayo yakaenderera mberi ikaita nharo ikavhura zvikoro. Iko zvinezvi muzvikoro zvacho zvose zvizhinji zvacho ndo mazara coronavirus imomo. Saka hurumende ngaiteerere ma-stakeholders. Ende tiri kuonawo zvakare kuti vari kunyepa, panenge pane ma-wrong statistics atiri kupiwa zvangaitawa naHonorable Moyo kuti ndofunga vekubulawayo vari kutesta kupfuura vekuHarare. Saka numbers atiri kupiwa handisi kuona ari echokwadi. Ndiri kutoona kuti tine vanhu vakawanda vane chirwere checoronavirus kuHarare kwacho nenyika yese, uye kuti tine vanhu vakawanda vari kufa nechirwere kupfuura vatiri kuudzwa. I think there is a silent genocide that is going on in Zimbabwe. Vanhu vari kupera kabisira. Unongonzwa kuti ninga adonha uko kwafa munhu, kwakati kwafa munhu. Saka tiri kuona vanhu vakawanda vari kufa asi tisinganyatsotaurirwa kuti vafa sei. It's a silent genocide.
Thank you there, Mr. Zokora, and please do stay on the line. As I bring Dr. Shepherd Mpofu, a political analyst in South Africa. Dokotela Mpofu, ngiyakwamukela kuhlelo.
Ngiyabonga njani wena labalaleli bakho?
Hayi siyaphila ngilethemba labalaleli basiphilele. Khona ngapho eSouth Africa siyakwazi ukuthi udla ubhedu lomkhuhlane ngisho lasekhaya iBulawayo yakhokhela ngabantu abagulayo, and it's been leading in the past 2 months ngabantu abafayo laba abanjwa lumkhuhlane, and by comparison eHarare ngane hayi kungcono. Siyezwa lapho uZokora lo Honorable Peter Moyo esixoxelayo bathi hayi ama-figures eHarare lawa kamake sense ngitsho ngesizathu sokuthi bathi abantu kabahlolwa. Ukubona njani lokho?
Bengabe beqinisile ukuthi amanani esiwatholayo ukuthi ayenzi into ezicacayo, ngoba iZimbabwe yona ngokwayo manje nxa sikhangela ukuthi izibhedlela lalabo bempilakahle abala capacity yokwenza anything. So embona kusenzakala ukuthi abantu ama-statistics lawo esiwatholayo ngalabo abalutshwane abatestiweyo kungatholakala ukuthi nxa singayenza ukuhlola sithi maybe every day or every week kube lama-centers avuliweyo ukuthi abantu baye behlolwa. Lobu uyatshengisela ukuthi uyatshisa kumbe awutshisi, uhambe uyehlolwa kuphela. Singathola ukuthi kulabantu abaningi bazabanjwa belo mkhuhlane lo. So inkinga yethu eZimbabwe ukuthi akula ma-strategies ukuthi abantu bahlolwe njani. Ambona ukuthi Ministry of Health ukuthi vele ilama-plans ukuthi abantu bahlolwa kanjani lokuthi umkhuhlane lo singenzani ukuze siwunqobe. Njalo singakhangela i-economy eZimbabwe, amanye amazwe like iSouth Africa i-government yanikeza abantu ama-incentives ama-350 rand lani yokuthi nxa ungasebenzi uhlale endlini nxa ulahlekelwe ngumsebenzi uzozama ukusurvive ngalokho okuncane okunikezwe khona. Uhulumende weZimbabwe kanikezanga abantu okuncane ukuthi babe bebambisile ngalesi sikhathi kule lockdown. So at the end of the day uzathola ukuthi abantu awungeke wabahlalisa phansi, bazabe lokhu bephuma behamba besiyadinga okudla, besiyadinga imisebenzi, besenza lokhu lalokhu. But into eqhakathekileyo ukuthi i-government ibe lama-strategies ukuthi abantu bahlolwa kanjani, and babe lokuhlola like babe lama-centers amaningi okuhlola abantu, which is not the case nxa sikhangele eZimbabwe kwamanje.
Abanye bathi amabhoda engavulwa mhla ka-1 lapho akhangelela ukuthi avulwe khona, kungaba lenyathelo elihle yini lelo ukuthi evalwe lelizwe lalo libuyele ku-lockdown?
Ukuthi ilizwe libuyele ku-lockdown kuzohlukumeza abantu kakhulu. Njengoba ngitshilo ukuthi iZimbabwe ayizange inikeze abantu ama-incentives like amanye amazwe ukuthi babe beziphile. Kulabantu abaphila ngokuthengisa, ikhisimusi yeza. Kulabantu abawode eSouth Africa besayathengisa eZimbabwe, yikho abathola khona ikhisimusi yabo, yikho abathola khona i-school fees somnyaka ozayo sabantwana, yikho abathola kokugqoka lokokudla ngekhisimusi yona le. Amabhoda engavalwa akusoze kusincede ngalutho. Into kumele yenzakale ukuthi kube lokuthi ebhoda babe behlola abantu umkhuhlane lo we-COVID, ngoba ukuvala amabhoda akusoze kusincede ngalutho. Ngiyazi ukuthi ukuhlola eZimbabwe kwamanje kuthiwa is between $60 kusiya ku-$80, okuyimali eningi abantu abaningi abangasoze bakwazi ukuyibhadala. And lokho kuzenza ukuthi abantu abangelayo ama-COVID test la bahambe besiyabribe lapho besiyabambisa abantu ebhoda ukuthi bacross, and umkhuhlane uzokwazi ukuqhubeka ngale ndlela, ukuspreada more ngaleyo ndlela. And kulabantu base-South Africa abafuna ukuyabona izihlobo zabo ekhaya eZimbabwe ngama-holiday. So ukuvala amabhoda mina ngibona ngani kuyabe sokuyi-extreme measure, loba nje kuqakathekile, but singaba lama-systems okuthi sitheste, sithi abantu abatestiweyo aba-COVID negative yibo bodwa abavunyelwayo ukucrossa into South Africa or into Zimbabwe njalo njalo, kuzaba ngcono kakhulu. So ngizikhulumela lami mina ngathi in my case ngitshonelwe ngumnewethu ngoNovember, umama uyedwa ekhaya eZimbabwe manje. So besithe ngoDisemba abuye ngapha ezoba lathi labazukulu labanye nje izihlobo ezila ezingakwazanga ukuhamba ekhaya nge-lockdown. So mawuzavalela umuntu onjalo on compassionate grounds lapho esengikhulumela khona, ngiyazi ukuthi asimngedwe ngusimo lesi, abantu abaningi bakusimo esifana nayo. So on compassionate grounds ukuvala ama-borders kungabe sokuhlukumeza abantu kakhulu after probably singathi umnyaka wonke abantu bengabonani, abantu bengakhulumisani kuhle. And abantu kulezinto esezenzakile ukuthi kulabantu asebebhubhile, abantu abakhalelananga, ababambananga izandla, izinto ezinjalo njalo.
Silusizi kakhulu ngalokho Dr. Mpofu, qhubeka ubambile. As we dive into politics now, because we love politics, so I'm sure many of you are aware that Harare Mayor Mr. Jacob Mafume was arrested the day before yesterday on charges of corruption emanating from the selling or distribution of council land. And he was in court today for a bail ruling. But zvataona ndezvekuti magistrate vaforwarda nyaya iyi to mangwana, vapostpona nyaya iyi to mangwana, hanzi ndipo pavachapa ruling yavo pakuti vaJacob Mafume vanobuditswa musungwa here nebail kana kuti kwete. Jacob Mafume njengokutsho kwami umeya weHarare, I'm sure abaningi liyakwazi ukuthi ubotshiwe kuthange setheswa icala le-corruption elusukela kudaba lwama-stands council ubesekhoti izolo, namhlanje ubuyelile for i-bail ruling, kodwa umantshi uthi hayi kumele aphenduke kusasa lapho aza kutsho ukuthi uyakhululwa yini kumbe hatshi. Nokudaro MDC Alliance iri kuchema kuti kusungwa kwava Mafume kushungurudzwa chete kwenhengo dzayo, because pane mamwe ma-councillors akawanda kuchitungwiza neharare ebato iri akambosungwawo achipomerwa mhosva imwe chete. Saka hanzi neMDC Alliance kushungurudzwa kwenhengo dzedu, asi ZANU-PF kune rimwewo divi rikuti haiwa idzi inyaya dzecorruption. Saka timbopinda ipapo vadzokora, muri kuti chiine nyaya yamafume, because hanzi neZANU-PF makasviba, ma-councils enyu akasviba azara uori.
Kana tanga kutaura nyaya yekusviba zvinotaurwa nezanu zvinotosekesa chero mbavha yakawanda, nekuti vari kunongedzera kuti MDC Alliance yakasviba nechigunwe chimwe chete, asi zvigunwe zvina zvinenge zvinongedzera kwavari ivo. To us, this is yet another case of persecution and weaponization of the law against MDC Alliance members. I think the biggest crime that Mr. Mafume has committed here is that he became mayor of Harare against all the odds. We all know what ZANU-PF was trying to do. They wanted a mayor who is a proxy of ZANU-PF, who is a member of another opposition party that is ganged up or joined up with ZANU-PF to try and decimate the MDC Alliance. And that has been our biggest fight against ZANU-PF and against Thokozani Kube's MDC. So we as MDC, we don't condone corruption, but we are seeing here interferences by ZANU-PF in our local authorities. If you just look at the behavior of the arresting authority, what they are doing, in normal circumstances, an arresting authority is supposed to investigate first before they arrest. But we are seeing a situation when it comes to MDC officials, they arrest to investigate. That's not the way things are done. That's why we end up thinking that this is politicization of this whole matter. And again, I want to tell Zimbabweans that as MDC, we have a record, a proven track record of dealing with corruption, something that we have never seen within ZANU-PF or the MDCT. Remember in 2010 or 2011, thereabout, the MDC fired the entire Chitungwiza Council. 24 out of the 25 councillors that we had in Chitungwiza, they were all fired on corruption, and they never came back. We don't put lipstick on a frog, and when we fire people, when we deal with corruption, we deal with it decisively. In ZANU-PF, you see people being fired, you see people being arrested, and then tomorrow morning they are released. You see people being fired for corruption, and then they are redeployed elsewhere. That's not what we do in MDC. And as for Mayor Mafume, he still has a case to answer. He's going to be proved by the courts that he is innocent. I don't want to comment much on a case that is before the courts. I cannot discuss the merits and demerits of this court of this case. But from what I've heard, if the people that were allocated stands were in the waiting list, are they not supposed to have stands simply because they are related to Mayor Mafume? And I still sincerely believe that Mr. Mayor Mafume is going to be exonerated.
Thank you, Vadzokora Regai Timbo Unza, Dr. Masimba Mavaza, Vebato ZANU-PF. Dr. Mavaza, tinokugamuchirai muchirongwa. Ndofunga manzwa Vadzokora vachitaura hanzi kusungwa kwavamafume nemamwe makansilas eMDC kushungurudzwa chete kuri kuitwa neZANU-PF kwenhengo dzavo.
Chekutanga toda kuti tinzwisane kuti kusungwa kwavamafume hakunei neZANU-PF. Vamafume vasungwa for breaking or for suspected to have broken a law, and it's a criminal issue. Kana munhu achinge asungwa, MDC nedambudziko rekungodaidzira vakamira pamhiri kuti munhu asungwa nekuti ndoMDC. Mutemo hauna maziso, mutemo is blind. Unosunga munhu kana uchinge watyora mutemo, hausungirwe kuti uriwe bato rerudzii. Chepiri ndoda kuti dzokora vaende kunoverenga zvakare, havasi kunzwisisa. Pakadzingwa the entire council yechitungwiza yakadzingwa navakasukuwere vakanga varivo minister of local government, and at that time vakasukuwere vanga vari veZANU-PF, vanga vasiri veMDC. Saka MDC haina kudzinga vanhu, not even one. MDC inozikanwa nenyaya dzewori kupfuura ZANU-PF, and mukanyaramba makatarisa munyazoona kuti even vabiti pavakanga vari minister of finance kune nyaya dzakawanda dzichiri kungoferefetwa dzekuti manje vanogona kusungwa, and kusasungwa kwavo hazvirevo kuti havana mhosva. Zvinongoreva kuti tinoda kuti kuve nerunyararo, vanotaurisa vane pamuromo pasingamarwe nenhunzi veMDC vadzidze kunyarara. Vamafume nyaya yavasungirwa hainei nebato ravanopinda, asi nyaya yekuti vashandisa masimba avo eumeya zvisiri pamutemo kuti vamwe vanhu vajambe maraini, inonzi abuse of office. Haina basa kuti pane mari yabuda kana hapana, but if you had shown a favor to one person or the other, that becomes a crime. Mafume had then been arrested for that. And again, nhasi mafume haana kungorambirwa bail, anzi tinopa decision mangwana, mutongi aroda kumbonofunga kuona kuti zvinokodzera here kupa mafume bail. Tikaramba takatarisa makansela mazhinji eMDC neZANU-PF vese vari kusungwa oro vakasungwa nenyaya dzekupanana mastand. Saka tikatarisa panyaya idzi hakuna ari kunzi iwewe uri kusungwa nekuti uri wepati yakati, uri kungosungwa nekuti watyora mutemo. Saka tinoda kuti vanhu vadzidze kusepareta pakati pehukopo hutsotsi nepakati pematangiro enyika. There must be a very clear line between a political issue and a criminal issue, and we cannot be afraid to arrest a person in any country because of a political affiliation. Iyo ndinenge yakunzi corruption. So in other words, if the government is actually able to make these arrests and then do not interfere at all and allow the law to take its own course, the due process, we have to allow that to happen. So in other words, it's not true. Don't kuti MDC inenge yakungochema kuda kungoti imbonzwirwa tsitsi dzimwe nyika dzipindire masvondo apfuura ava vangomo. You would know kana Dzokora can agree with me kuti MDC yakakwira churu ichidaidzira kuti mucheiwa abatwa nemapurisa, akidnepwa, abductwa, arowa. Iko zvinezvi mutongi wavo mukuru, chairman wavo akabuda akati aiwa mucheiwa neMDC vanga vakaronga kupaza hurumende, mabuilding ehurumende nekukonzera nzvonga mupopoto mubhuruwayo. And MDC bvovanyarara ngevasina miromo. All of a sudden their mouths are gone because haakuziva kuti ukopokopo hwabuda pachena. Saka hatidi kuti tingopota tichingonongedzera muro ine asipo. Ngatinangane nenyaya. Mafume is a lawyer. Rega anopinda mudare. Kana akaonekwa asina mhosva, anoonekwa asina mhosva. Akaonekwa ane mhosva, mutongo wake unenge wakamumirira. Saka ngatisangodaidzira zvisiri izvo nekungonyebera mhuri yeZimbabwe kuti munhu wese asungwa is political. Apa munhu asungwa is criminal.
Asi panyaya yamuchehiwa namasocha ndofunga makaona kuti standing committee yeMDC Alliance yakabuda nechisungo nezuro chekuti muzvare masocha adzingwe mubasa mubato nekuti akanyepa panyaya yekubhobwa kwema-buildings ehulumende iyoyo. That's the latest. I would like us to keep our focus on the main issue nyaya corruption yekusungwa kwema-MDC councillors. Mataura imimi va Dr. Mavaza kuti vabiti vachiri finance minister vane mhosva dzavakapara. Mungachenesa ipapo kuti ndezipi zacho?
Vabiti vakaita yainzi maghost workers. Kwaiva nemaworkers akawanda anga akacreatwa navabiti vaibhadhara masalaries atisingazivi mari dziya dzakaenda kupi vabiti pavanga vari minisa ipapo. Ende dzimwe nyaya dzitori pakati pekufeiwa dzekuti nemazuva mashoma shoma anoteera vabiti vachazodaidzwa kuti vadairewo pauparanzvongo hwavo nekupara mhosva kwavakaita. And havasi voga, mukada kutarisa munoona kuti vazhinji vakabatwa nyaya dzeuori kana vakasungwa nyaya dzeuori vanga vari vanhu veMDC. Kwete nekuti ndeve-MDC asi nekuti uori hwakapfunya chisero muumba meMDC. MDC and corruption is one. You cannot find a definition between them. They are one thing. Saka ndokusaka mtoona kuti vanhu vazhinji vari kubatwa nemhosva dzeuori ndeve-MDC. Kunyange vachida kuzonyebera havo kuti vabatwa because ndeve-MDC, vabatwa because panenge pane nyaya dziri kuferefetwa. But nyaya homeda kuti titarise vangomo babunidzogora soko ndeyekuti number one, kana munhu achinge asungwa hazvire kuti ane mhosva, ndo pari kutangira nyaya yekuferefeta nyaya yake inozonoperera mudare redzimhosva. Pakaonekwa pasina mhosva inogona kutoperera kumapurisa isina kuzopinda mudare mekutongwa. Inogona kuzongonzi nyaya yapera yaonekwa pasina mhosva. Saka munhu kana achinge angosungwa hatibate matumbu nekuridza mhere nekungotanga kupomerana, tinomira kuti tipe vemumatare edzimhosva nguva yavo yekuongorora nyaya nekuita nepainogona. Saka hazvina kunge zvakakodzera kuti MDC itange kupopota nekutaura zvisina maturo pamusoro pekusungwa kwaMeya Mafume. Meya Mafume vane chavakabereka kumusana chiri kunzi chionekwe pajekerere. Kana pachinge pasina mhosva inobuda kuti havana mhosva, voramba vari meya. Kana vakabatwa nemhosva vanopiwa mutongo wavo. Saka ngatisangomhanya nekungoda kungoti kana chichangoti kwatara tobva tatanga kundovhunduka, tatanga kungopomerana mhosva. Mhosva ngaimirirwe itongwe nekuti mhosva haiori ende dare rinoona, rine maoko anobata zviri kure. Saka hatifanirwe kudzungaira nenyaya iyoyi.
And ngilete udokotela eMpofu lapha, bayakhuluma lapha uyamuzu uMavaza eMpofu lo babudzokora ngendaba ye-corruption.
Yeah, but into ehlekisayo ukuthi kuthiwa i-corruption into ye-MDC. Asikwazi ukuthi i-MDC ingaba le-corruption. Into yazakala vele wonke umuntu oseZimbabwe manje angeke aphila ngaphandle kwe-corruption, ngoba i-corruption le ilethwe yi-ZANU-PF. Just to refresh our memories, remember ama-corruption scandal aye-ZANU-PF since 1980. You have i-Willowgate motor scandal, you have i-Zisco Steel blast furnace scandal, a-Zimbabwe Focus scandal, you have i-Zeterapi Santana scandal, you have all Veterans Compensation Fund scandal, you have GMB Grain VIP housing scheme, Harare City Council refused, tell us everything, we included ZANU-PF, we had DRC, Noxim, Enos Chikore, Native Fuel, VIP Land Grab, Command Agriculture, even now, so ukuthi sithi i-MDC yoyodwa ile corruption hayi sinabe siphambanisa seven. I-ZANU-PF singathi nayo ukubola kwayo yikho sokwenza iZimbabwe ibe lapha ekhona kwamanje. Nxa sikhuluma ngokuboshwa kwamafumu i-ZANU-PF, ngithi i-ZANU-PF angithi Zimbabwe Republic Police wama-courts, ngoba kule interference too much kumsebenzi wama-courts wenkantolo abo-magistrate labahluli be-high court lemapoliseni. I-ZANU-PF is interfering too much. I-ZANU-PF nxa kungababo abantu aba-accused bale system okuthiwa i-catch and release, ukwenze ngani bayenza umsebenzi but baye bekwazi abakwenzayo. But nxa sokubuya kwabantu be-MDC bababoshwa ngendlela yokubethusela. Citizens have rights, angithi even umuntu ewonile uyaboshwa, kuya-investigatwa first kutholakala ukuthi wonile ebeseboshwa-ke ebesesiya ecourt. But iZANU-PF has a tendency yokuthi ithumela amapholisa ukuthi ayebopha umuntu bebese bemi-investigata later esebotshiwe. And in most cases you have many hundreds of cases whereby iZANU-PF has actually failed to prove somebody guilty. And nxa ungathola kulama-judges or ama-magistrate azi umthetho ngendlela e-right baba-release bonke laba bantu. But into yabisenzakele ukuhlukumeza abantu, ukwethusela abantu lokuyana ngokubabopha, yikho esingathi ku-wrong, yikho kungalokhu esingeke sakuvumela. And it's interesting ukuthi nxa kuyakhulunywa ngomtsheyiwa kuthiwa kwakuthiwa ubotshiwe nge-abduction kwathini, but wayeplana ukubhomba ama-buildings. Nxa waplana ukubhomba ama-buildings, wayengabotshwanga wahambisa ecourt? Why walokhu wabanjwa amapolisa wathoshwa kwaze wayiwe ecourt ukuthi baze bamrelease? iZimbabwe nxa sisithi okwenziwayo ngamapolisa ku-right, then iZimbabwe is just a banana republic at the end of the day. But the rule of law must be upheld. Whether MDC, ZANU-PF, or you're a journalist, courts must do their work properly. But for a long time, ZANU-PF has made sure that our courts and the police don't do their job in a decent, in a way that ehlonipha amalungelo oluntu.
Vatsokora, I know you wanted to respond to zvanga zvataurwa navamavaza. Hanzi makasviba zvekuti.
It's very unfair for Mr. Dr. Mavaza to come here and make unfounded allegations. He's referring to Honorable BT, who was a Minister of Finance during the unit government. That happened. When did that happen? And when were those cases found? And why was he not brought to book during that time? He also talks about some unfounded allegations about the MDC during the Tawanda Mcheyiwa's case. The MDC, I want to state here categorically, we are non-violent. Our philosophy is non-violent. And we don't have, as the MDC, the capacity or appetite to take over Zimbabwe using violent means. We have never talked about violence. We have never done it. In our 20 years of existence, there is no way where the MDC has been associated with violence or bombings for that matter. We don't even have the capacity to acquire guns, the AK-47 that ZANU-PF has been using to gun down citizens in Zimbabwe. We don't have them as MDC. We don't have the DNA of violence. If you want to talk about violence, you talk about ZANU-PF. They are the ones that are abducting people. The abductors for Tawanda Mcheyiwa were seen in broad daylight on camera. They are there. They are ZANU-PF people. They work for the system. They work for the government. Why haven't they been arrested? They cannot try to turn this thing around. They are the ones that are doing the abductions. As MDC, we are a non-violent party. And atitorina chero mari yacho kuti tinzi tingaende kunobhomba mubhurwayo kana kunobhomba kupi. We don't have and will not be involved or engaged in any issues to do with violence in Zimbabwe because we are not violent. And then coming back to the issue of Mayor Mafume, I've already said we are not objecting to anyone being investigated if they have a case to answer. We are just worried about the way they are doing it. Why are they arresting to investigate instead of investigating to arrest? And I've already said that as MDC, we have a track record. We fired 24 councillors in Chitungwiza, which means we don't. We are the party that is zero tolerance to corruption, and we take action. Not to have a situation where 15 billion disappears in a country and nobody gets arrested.
And as we wrap up, Mr. Tsokora, we saw yesterday President Trump, US President Trump, saying that he will leave the White House if the Electoral College electors should elect Joe Biden next month. Is that a concession?
It is a concession, and it just shows that indeed USA is an epitome of democracy. And it also shows the world that democracy works. And we said it when all this was happening, that when it comes for time for Mr. Trump to leave office, he will leave office. He will not behave like Emerson Mnangagwa or other African dictators. He is not like that. He is going to leave. And that just shows that there is democracy in America. And I know the electors, they know the system that has been ongoing in America for the past 200 years. They are going to elect the person who won the election, and there won't be any issues on that. It's democracy at display and democracy working in America.
Vamavaza Pachidimbu. I think you owe listeners a climb down. You said a few weeks ago that Trump was going to win. What say you now?
Yes, definitely. Trump was supposed to win, and naturally, he was supposed to win. Unfortunately, he has not lost yet. He's waiting for the college votings, which will be done next month. So that if they don't appoint Biden, it means Trump wins. So at the moment, we can be excited that Trump has lost, but we do not have a definitive position at the moment. Even though what we think can show that Trump has lost, literally under the American system, Trump has not accepted defeat fully. He did accept once, and he changed his mind. You see, by saying Trump might win, it doesn't mean that I support Trump. Trump have got a mentality of Nelson Chamisa. The people who started by saying, if we lose, it's because the elections are rigged. That's what the MDC's mantra. That's the mantra of Trump. That's where they've learned their noise making from Trump. Trump is a noise maker. He's a person who actually puts the democratic polls into testing, which is wrong for any president. And by the fact that we said he's going to win, we did not mean that we supported him or I support him. I don't. And again, Zimbabwe is actually better politically with the relations with America. It's better with Trump than with Biden. Biden, Obama, and the rest of that party had not been supportive of Zimbabwe or of Emerson Mnangagwa or of ZANU-PF at all, or Zimbabwe at large. They have not been supportive of us. And so again, however, in short, I wanted to say Jokora is making a mistake. The councillors who were fired from Chitongwiza were fired by the government of Zimbabwe, which is a rule not by MDC.
Let's close the show with Dr. Mpofu. Kusigqibela uhlelo lapha Mpofu. Uthi uMabaza eleZimbabwe belingcono kakhulu kundaba zokudlelana leMelika lidila lo Trump than ubaba Biden. Ungavumelana laye?
Angeke ngavumelana laye ngoba ungakhangela ukuthi i-behavior kaTrump ngiyakwazi ukuthi iZANU-PF ibingakhangelelanga uTrump ukuthi awine ngoba ile ngqondo yokuthi nxa yona irun ama-elections iZANU-PF kumele iwarige iwine. Be-expect ukuthi uTrump la ayenze njalo. And uTrump okwamanje lokhu esala is in denial, even ukunikezana anti umongameli omutsha obuyayo kumele abesebenzisana lalo osezaphuma. And uTrump yena uyala okwamanje okuyingqondo yeZANU-PF actually ungakhangela kakuhle. That's why abantu beZANU-PF besympathize laye kangaka. And i-democracy ye-America, I think, is being tested and challenged. And actually, loopholes are being exposed. American democracy is not at all that democracy we should ultimately look at as the best. It's not the best. So ubudlelwano beZimbabwe le-America under uTrump akulanto ezimangalisayo ezenzakalayo eZimbabwe. Ama-sanctions, ama-targeted sanctions aqhubeka. Under Obama also ama-targeted sanctions ayekhona, and under uBiden amboni ukuthi kuzatshintsha, kuzaqhubeka as long iZimbabwe ingatshintshanga.
Thank you there, Dr. Mpofu, and sorry we are out of time. We'll have to leave it there, but thank you so much to Dr. Shepard Mpofu, a political analyst, Dr. Masimba Mavaza of ZANU-PF in the UK, as well as Mr. Tawanda Dzokora of the MDC Alliance here in America. Kwanele Mtwakazi muri eZimbabwe tasvika kumagumo echirongwa chedu. I am your host, Tungamili Nkomo. Have a nice weekend.